Other
Hello everyone, welcome back here to Weather on the Go. This is a live stream this afternoon. We are going over some longer range type of weather forecast here for you guys this afternoon. So if you guys would very kindly hit that subscribe button, that would definitely be a big help to my channel, as well as to getting this out to more and more people, as well as like the live stream down below. Definitely important as well. All right, guys, so we're looking at this right now. We're looking kind of at the windy weather radar, and you can kind of see, yeah, we got a lot of storms popping up across portions here of southeastern Canada, as well as portions here of Ohio. And as you see right now here, some robust thunderstorms west of Cleveland here. We got some storms near Sandusky, kind of moving its way down here to the north and west of the Mansfield area. We're seeing some pretty good lightning strikes here as I kind of put this in motion this afternoon. Really not seeing too much in the way of severe weather across this region here. They are under a slight risk here. Let's kind of look at the outlook here for today. There is a slight risk of severe weather across portions here of Ohio, western Pennsylvania, you can kind of see a slight risk here from western portions there of Pennsylvania, much of Ohio here, western portions of West Virginia, and then moving down here into southeastern and southern Indiana and portions there of Kentucky as well in that slight risk here for the rest of today. We are looking at that 2% chance of tornadoes across northern Ohio, as well as extreme western and northwestern Pennsylvania here through the rest of this afternoon and getting in here through tonight. The main risk here, I think, is more going to be the damaging wind risk across this area, and then kind of followed by large hail, a little bit of lesser here chance of a large hail, and that 5% shading here across Ohio. Also portions up into the eastern North Dakota, northwestern Minnesota, and then getting down across southeastern Colorado, northeastern New Mexico as well for that as well. But we are concerned about that tornado risk again. As I go back to the radar here, you can kind of see as I put this in motion, some of these storms kind of are, not really organized into a squall line. It's kind of more semi-discrete or kind of discrete storms. Also into southeastern Canada as well. As I kind of move this up towards portions of Ontario here, we got some storms just to the west of Toronto, getting down towards the London, Ontario area, the Chatham area here, just east of Detroit. And actually, we do have kind of more of a squall line trying to develop here east of the Detroit area and kind of northeast of Detroit, moving into southern portions of Ontario here as we speak, kind of generally moving towards the Toronto area. So we'll see if these do hold together and kind of move across these areas here through the next few hours or so across southeastern Canada. So we're not just covering the U.S. today, we're covering southeastern Canada, kind of watching these storms moving into the Toronto area as well. And again, with this in motion, you can see all the lightning out here. As I kind of zoom in towards the Cleveland area, yeah, you got kind of a storm cell moving your way, maybe just to the north of Cleveland. A lot of heavy rain kind of over the area here as well, with Lake Erie there, as well as some very robust, very vivid lightning across these areas as well. And guys, if you guys are just tuning in here as well, I would appreciate if you guys like the live stream. Thank you guys for joining this afternoon. Definitely much appreciated. Hey, Snowies, how are you doing this afternoon? Welcome back. Welcome back to the live stream. Hopefully you can hear me a lot better than you did the other day. That's for sure. I am upstairs today, so hopefully you can hear me a lot better. It's raining here, not storming though. Yeah, as I move this up towards Toronto, Snowies, we actually do have some storms just to your west, and actually it might come in two waves. You're getting some rainfall now, like you're saying. I think there's going to be a stronger wave of kind of a stronger line of thunderstorms moving through your area, Snowies, here in the next few hours. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Maybe even some strong wind gusts from that. I'm not talking about a derecho or anything, just kind of a strong, maybe 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gust in your area. Maybe some pea-sized hail here, some very small hail, as well as especially some torrential rainfall, and even here, some localized flooding for the Toronto area. So we'll definitely have to we'll definitely have to monitor this as it kind of continues to move off to the east. Again, we are kind of using this radar right now. I'm kind of transitioning to kind of use more of the windy weather radar. If you guys can see this a lot better, I think, than the other one anyways. So I think this is kind of the route I want to take with my live streams here upcoming this year, kind of using this radar a lot more. First thunder, though. There you go, Snowies. There's tornado watches about 20 minutes north of me. Yeah, there's okay. So what's happening here, Snowies, is actually what we call a very strong. There's an upper level low, and if I kind of zoom in a little bit, farther to the north here across western Quebec and eastern Ontario, we're actually seeing that very big upper level spin. If you can't see that on the radar, you can see all this convection or thunderstorm activity actually moving more north northeast, and then on the backside, we got kind of some backwash moisture here across Lake Superior and northern portions of Wisconsin, as well as the UP of Michigan, and that's kind of with the cold front. A cold front's moving through the area here across portions of the Ohio Valley today, and that's why the slight risk of severe weather is higher across portions of Ohio, western Pennsylvania, getting down into northern Kentucky today as well. So that is something we're also watching. Guys, if you guys are just joining, would very much appreciate if you guys would press that like button down below here and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Definitely much appreciated. We're only one subscriber away from 300, guys, so that would be very much appreciated if we could get over 300 subscribers, and my new goal will actually then be 500 subscribers here in the next couple weeks, guys. So thank you very much for joining. Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday afternoon out there. We're just kind of covering severe weather across here, the portions of the southeast here, Canada region, as well as the Ohio Valley into western New England. But I did mainly kind of do this live stream, kind of launch the live stream this afternoon, mainly for the fact of the long range weather forecast, as we not only do have severe weather today, but as I go back here, again, this is your area here for severe weather today. We got that slight risk across Ohio, western Pennsylvania, portions there of West Virginia, much of Kentucky, and southeastern portions there of Indiana, and then that marginal risk kind of all the way through Tennessee down there, here into portions of the Atlanta metro, getting down here into western the western Carolinas, so western South Carolina, western North Carolina, and then extending back down towards the Red River here, towards the Dallas-Fort Worth area here, maybe a couple of storms. Again, the tornado risk is a 2% across extreme northwestern Pennsylvania and portions of Ohio, especially northern Ohio, near the Lake Erie area. And then as we move through kind of the other hazards here, we got some damaging winds here in that 15% shading across this area as we head here through the rest of the day. That's going to kind of be the main mode of severe weather, not only for the United States, but I think even the Toronto area, getting up into much of southern and southeastern Ontario and western Quebec. I think the severe weather mode will be more of damaging straight line winds, potentially over 60 miles per hour, some of those storms, as well as that large hail threat here, a little bit lower, with the instability kind of staying a little bit lower, as well as we kind of move towards the early evening hours. So kind of timing this out, let's use the HRRR, guys, and let's kind of look down here in the Ohio Valley Mid-Atlantic region. And again, the main area of concern is across northern Ohio and northwestern portions of Pennsylvania through the next few hours. So timing this out here, just making sure I have the latest. Okay, so this is the latest run of the HRRR model. So this is the most up-to-date of what the radar could look like as we kind of move through the next few hours. So going through the next few hours, I think the line of storms across eastern Ohio will really start to develop more and more here by that 7, 8 o'clock time frame. So if if you're just about going to bed here, if you go to bed early in the evening across these areas, especially into eastern Ohio, northwestern Pennsylvania, do want to be on high alert for the potential of at least a couple of spin-up tornadoes, mainly some damaging winds that could be over 60 miles per hour, and as well as that large hail threat here, and even down into portions of Kentucky as well. And then as we kind of move through the rest of the evening hours, I think this will start to move across portions of the Pittsburgh area, getting down in towards the Charleston, West Virginia area, and a lot of heavy rainfall and storm action down across portions there of Kentucky, particularly eastern Kentucky down into northeastern Tennessee. And then as we kind of move towards the after midnight time frame, we'll start to lose that daytime heating again as we get to the late night hours, and we'll start to see more of that kind of stabilization of the boundary layer here of the kind of along that cold front, and we'll start to see more storms kind of fire up across the western Carolinas as well. So that's kind of what we're looking at today. Let's see here who's in the chat. Snowy says the rain is over. It lasted about 6 minutes. Well, at least you got some rainfall, and I think you do have more on the way, Snowy's. That line is coming your way here as well. We got kind of a secondary line moving through. So that's not the only rain you'll see this evening. You might have some more robust thunderstorms with lightning and stuff like that later. Hey Mark, how you doing? Thank you for joining the live stream. Very much appreciated. Hope you're having a great Wednesday afternoon. How is New York looking? Well, let's just go over this here. The Storm Prediction Center. Again, New York, the western side of New York is either under a marginal or slight risk of severe weather, so a level 1 or level 2 of 5. If you live in much of the central and eastern side of New York or southern New York, you were kind of in either that general thunderstorm risk here across the light, light shaded green areas, or you're under really virtually nothing across these areas. Again, the tornado risk is mainly across northern Ohio and western and northwestern Pennsylvania. Same thing with the hail and wind. So I think you're in the clear across New York, but we'll look at this here on the, like I said, the HRRR model. These storms, as they enter towards the New York area, will actually start to kind of fizzle out more as they move towards New York here in the next few hours. So that's kind of what we're expecting. Again, if you live towards the New York City area, you guys will be fine. If you live down towards Baltimore, you'll be fine. Boston, you'll be fine. So we'll definitely keep watching that. But I think the far western side of New York, closer to the lakes there, that's where we're kind of most concerned as we head towards the late evening hours before the storms start to fizzle out. Yeah, the Snowy says the clouds are moving quick, but the wind has settled down. Yeah, the reason why the clouds are moving quick is actually, Snowy, what you're actually seeing right now here. Let's see if I can actually show this to you here. Okay, I can't see it. Okay, so Toronto is right here, right? So let's kind of time this out for you, Snowies. We got kind of a line of storms moving through that you said now, and then we got kind of a secondary line, and that secondary line is going to be more potent potentially. That's along the main cold front. So that's the main storm action here across your area. That'll be in the next hour or two. So I'm expecting here, about 7, 8 o'clock for that to move through the Toronto area. So we'll definitely have to watch that here over the next couple of hours. But yeah, we're definitely seeing some potential for that cold front to move through with some stronger storms before they start to fizzle out across southern Ontario here again. But looking kind of at the rainfall across these areas in Toronto as well, not a lot of rainfall, but enough to soak the ground here the next few hours. Again, maybe up to an inch of rain in some of the heavier cores of thunderstorm activity, but I think the heaviest rain will actually be in western Quebec, where you see the reds and oranges here. They could have up to around 2 inches or so of rain in some parts of Quebec with multiple rounds of storms here with this cold front. Mark says, so just rain? Boo, I wanted a good storm. Well, I can't disagree with what you're saying. I know everybody's wanting some good storms out there, trust me, but it looks like perhaps today we're not looking at a good setup for severe weather across New York. As we move into the day tomorrow, the day 2 outlook, I think New York is a little bit higher of a chance of severe weather, at least if you're on the eastern side of New York. So if you live in eastern New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, getting down towards the Boston area, much of Massachusetts, down toward Hartford, Connecticut, northern Rhode Island, maybe even central New York, you might have a kind of a 1 to 2 out of 5, kind of that marginal to slight risk of severe weather as a strong, very potent cold front moves across your area tomorrow. And also here of note as well, a lot of these areas across the southeast have been kind of void of any severe weather the last few months. And actually looks like we're going to start to heat things up across portions of the the Gulf Coast towards the Carolinas as we head into tomorrow. Another frontal boundary pushing south. We got a slight risk here from Jackson, Mississippi through Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, getting down towards the Atlanta metro area here in central and northern Georgia. And then down through kind of the center here, kind of bisecting here, the center there of the Carolinas here through the Columbia area, getting up toward Raleigh here, a slight risk for the day tomorrow. Looking at the individual risk tomorrow, again, the tornado risk is actually there. We do have a tornado risk for portions of New York, especially eastern New York and southern New York, down toward the New York City area, northern New Jersey, much of the, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, western portions there of Maine. This is for tomorrow. And then you can actually see the wind risk, that 15% shading, that's in that slight risk across the southeast here as well as the northeast, and then kind of a lower end chance for some, large hail across those same areas as well, from central Mississippi to central Carolinas, as well as portions there of New England along that I-95 corridor. So we'll have to watch that as we head through the afternoon and evening tomorrow. So that's what we're seeing tomorrow. Let's kind of time this out for you guys across the Northeast tomorrow to kind of get your bearings on what to expect. This is what we call the NAMNIS model, and this model does a fairly good job of showing you what you can expect. Again, don't take these models verbatim of what the radar will exactly look like, but it's just generally used as a guide to show you what we could expect here over the next couple of days. As we get into the day tomorrow, during the morning hours, we might have a couple showers moving through portions of upper New York State, getting into Quebec there, southern Quebec, Vermont, New Hampshire. But as we kind of get that daytime heating tomorrow and that cold front moving through, I think the higher coverage of storms will be across Vermont, New Hampshire, getting down to western Mass there, here into western portions of Massachusetts, northwestern Connecticut, southern New York State. So New York City could get in on the action a little bit as we kind of head into that time frame as well. And then as we kind of move a little farther into the day tomorrow here, I think just the main cold front as it pushes through New England, we'll start to see more in the way here of some storm action, mainly kind of a broken line of storms tomorrow. Now looking at the total precipitation, we could have some heavier downpours with this. Again, Vermont, New Hampshire, eastern portions of New York, western Massachusetts, western Maine. We could be talking about maybe 1 inch to 2 inches with some of these rainfall totals here, especially as you get up into southern Quebec. You definitely could be talking about some very big, severe weather potentially tomorrow with, slight risk. It's not a lot of times the slight risk here is up into portions of Maine or Quebec here. So definitely kind of some rare air for up here. We'll definitely have to continue to watch this as well. Looking here at the live chat, Snowy says, as long as it's just rain, thunder, and lightning, nothing more. Well, you could have some stronger wind gusts. I can't say for certain how strong. I think if you were to have any strong wind gusts, I think the highest gusts you could see tonight is probably up to 60 miles per hour, which could do some damage. But I think mainly under that, I think 40 to 50 miles per hour with the stronger storms. Maybe if a storm could really get going across your area, maybe up to around 60 miles per hour. But I don't see anything stronger than that. Maybe some smaller hail. I'm not really too worried about a hail risk. Mainly some pea to marble size hail up into that area here, into the Toronto area. The lightning threat could be pretty prolific. We could have a lot of vivid lightning strikes there here, a lot of energy in the atmosphere here, kind of with this cold front moving through Snowies through the Toronto area. Not really looking at a tornado threat either, so we're not too worried about tornadoes in your area either. Snowy says, although my anxiety doesn't get too crazy now with my greenhouse because my greenhouse is a champ. You definitely do some hard work out there with your greenhouse, that's for sure. Mark says, so what do I say? July 20th, first big hurricane. So everybody's asking about the hurricane season here. Let's just look at this just momentarily, real quick. Dive into the hurricane season. Let's look at this with the GFS model. Let me get the kind of the right bearings here. Okay, so the Atlantic. Okay, guys, so this is kind of something I like to use. This is Tropical Tidbits. This is kind of a website with all the forecast models on here, and any one of you guys can look at this. But it does take a lot of work to kind of look at and see, get your bearings on what you're seeing here. So I kind of go through this a little bit with you. This is the GFS model. So again, this is a model. Don't take this verbatim. This is not exactly what's going to play out. This is just kind of a guide to tell you what you could have as we kind of move through the next couple of weeks here. So this is today. This is the 20th here. As we move through the day tomorrow, we just kind of got some waves coming off Africa here. Again, a lot of these waves are not really going to be that big of a deal because we got that strong high pressure system centered across the central Atlantic as we head here through the next probably week or so. And what this high pressure system is doing is actually kind of steering the flow across the southern Atlantic, and that's why the Eastern Pacific, guys, has been just so active as of late, is just because the high pressure system, the flow around it is actually, clockwise. With the low pressure system, flow around low pressure systems are counterclockwise. So if you're kind of looking at this with the high pressure, with the clockwise flow, this kind of makes all these waves that come off Africa kind of steers them toward the Central Americas and away from the Atlantic and as well as the East Coast or even the Gulf of Mexico. And that looks to stay this way here as we head through the next few days. So let's go a little further down the line here as we kind of head towards the 24th time frame. Again, we got a kind of another signal here for a robust kind of wave coming off Africa, but again, still kind of staying across the southern Atlantic basin as this high pressure system really continues to kind of maintain its intensity, kind of maintain its positioning across the central and perhaps western Atlantic here through the better half of the rest of July here. But as we get towards late July, we really got to watch. I think there could be a system somewhere around the Western Caribbean or the Eastern Pacific. Now, whether it's on the Eastern Pacific side or the Western Caribbean side here, it remains to be seen. But there has been a lot of kind of longer range weather forecasting models that have kind of been showing this potential on either side of Mexico. So we'll definitely have to watch this as we kind of get a little bit closer to this time frame. That is for sure. But something else I want to note as well is that we have a lot of dust. We have a lot of dust moving across Western Africa right now. And as we have a lot of dust, hurricanes, tropical entities or tropical systems do not like the dust across these areas. So we're just kind of not really seeing a lot in the way of hurricanes through really the rest of July. But as we turn the book to August, things do change. As you notice, this high pressure system that's centered across the central Atlantic, at least on the GFS model, is still there on the 31st, but as we go towards that, towards that August 1st time frame, it starts to show signs of this actually moving a little farther north and a little farther east. And I did mention this in my daily weather forecast videos, and this does occur. It will kind of open the door for more tropical rainfall, more tropical moisture, and potentially less wind shear to deal with. And we could be dealing with a very active early to middle August here for the hurricane season. So in the short term, to answer your guys' long story short, probably not seeing anything, hurricane tropical wise, besides any tropical, rainfall, with some of that moisture getting fetched up into the Gulf. But really, we're not talking about any hurricanes, no major hurricanes, probably within the next 2 weeks. So I hope that answers your guys' questions out there. Again, this is just one model run. Again, I can go over the Canadian model as well, and it kind of shows you the same flavor. Again, the high pressure system really kind of centered across portions here of the central Atlantic, and really kind of showing you the same thing as we kind of move through that time frame. Now, the only thing to watch, the only thing I want to mention to you guys is that once in a great while, when sometimes here some of these frontal boundaries move through the Ohio Valley and try to move toward the southeast around the outer side, the other side of this ridge that's centered across the central plains and southern plains, every once in a while, we could be talking about some of those frontal boundaries trying to sneak in toward the Carolina coast, maybe the northern Gulf of Mexico coast here, coastline areas. And once in a great while, kind of like Colin did, we could talk about maybe some, rapid kind of tropical development, but I don't really think that remains the case. That's just kind of looking at the models, we're not kind of seeing that favored at this current time. So that was a good question. Thank you guys for asking. Thank you, Mark. Snowies, is there any potential hurricanes right now? No hurricanes right now, Snowies. Nope. If there was any hurricane potential, it'd mainly be across the Eastern Pacific Basin, across the Atlantic, the Caribbean, the Gulf. Very quiet, at least through the next 2 weeks. Drew Ferguson, thank you for joining the live stream today. Much appreciated. Thank you guys for being very interactive today in the live stream. Much appreciated. Drew says, do you think the front comes through on Saturday? But I have a question. Is there like a secondary front behind that, or is it more of a stationary boundary that's coming through on Saturday? Okay, so let's take a look at that. Very, very good question, Drew. And thank you for asking these awesome questions today, you guys. You guys are awesome. Again, you guys are making me work. I appreciate it. So what we have here on Saturday, let's actually look at the Weather Prediction Center site here, because it actually gives more of shows you where these frontal boundaries are going to be. Looking kind of on here, as we move into the day on Saturday, we're actually going to have a couple different things we're watching. So on Saturday, we got a warm front that'll be across portions of the Illinois River Valley and the Mississippi Valley as we move into the midday hours on Saturday. And what this will do is actually produce that, strong weather across portions there of northern Iowa, southern and central Wisconsin here, southeastern Minnesota, maybe far northern Illinois as we head into Saturday afternoon and evening. Because of all that warm warm air advection, as we call it. We got a lot of instability building across those areas here during the afternoon and evening hours. We got a lot of deep layer shear, which means kind of that wind shear out there. We look forward to organize some storms. And yeah, we could be talking about some severe weather, and that's why the Storm Prediction Center Saturday, again, this is Friday's forecast. You got that marginal risk here from central and eastern Nebraska through Iowa, much of Wisconsin, again, over towards southern New York State here, northeastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey on Friday. But Saturday, the Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of 15% shading on the day 4 outlook here across much of south central Wisconsin, far northern Illinois there, north central Iowa, and southeastern Minnesota. So areas here that include Milwaukee, Madison, Wisconsin, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, the Des Moines area, Rochester, Minnesota here, Green Bay, up toward the Wisconsin Dells. These areas could be impacted here by some severe weather. La Crosse, Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin. You guys get the idea. Mainly to the northern end of the Chicago suburbs, we could be seeing some severe weather. Now, this could actually move a little bit. We could actually see there's still some disagreements in where exactly some of these thunderstorm clusters will kind of develop Saturday afternoon and evening. There's some models that bring them a little farther south here into southern Iowa and north central Illinois, and there's other models that bring them a little farther north on the northern end of this 15% shading. So there's still a little bit of differences here. I did want to note that as well, but there's still some wiggle room here. This is only the day 4 outlook, so there has multiple more chances here for the Storm Prediction Center to kind of reevaluate the situation here as we get a little bit closer. But I do think the severe weather potential is really going to start to grow as we head towards the weekend, and especially next week as well. So concerning Drew's question, I know I'm kind of going around in circles here, guys. Just kind of going through that Friday, Saturday time frame. Again, Friday for you, Drew, maybe some storms moving through central and eastern portions of Nebraska as we head towards the Friday afternoon time frame. Again, maybe some small hail, some isolated 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts, probably not a big deal. Same thing for Iowa as well. As we move towards that Saturday time frame, again, maybe some more clusters of storms developing Friday night to Saturday morning toward the Mississippi Valley there. Again, away from the Nebraska area, that is, pretty much a given. As we kind of move here, look at the European forecast model during Saturday, it actually looks like portions of Nebraska is actually going to be centered under the northern half of that ridge. So what you're going to see in Nebraska is actually a lot more heat. So you're not going to see any storm action, I don't think, on Saturday. In Nebraska, you're going to be under the northern half of that ridge, which does mean you're going to have highs in the upper 90s, lower 100s there for much of Nebraska here, in exception to maybe the Panhandle area where we got some cooler air to the north and west here, relatively speaking, still in the mid-80s. But definitely a lot of heat building in Nebraska, and I think that ridge will just be too strong for you guys. Yeah, we could have highs in central and southern Nebraska on Saturday, high temperatures. This is not in factoring in the humidity. Yeah, we could be seeing high temperatures near 105 in some spots. Potentially during that time frame. And this is the European forecast model, so this is a very accurate, kind of reliable weather forecast model we look at for the longer range period. Again, thank you guys for liking it down below. If you guys are just joining, would appreciate if you guys would drop the like down below, as well as subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have finally hit 300, guys. My new goal is 500 subscribers, so if you guys do not mind, definitely press that subscribe button down below. Definitely appreciate it as well. So again, look at, as you can kind of see on the European forecast model here, with the ridge kind of moving across, kind of centered across that Nebraska area, it looks like over top that ridge across the Dakotas, and especially portions here of south central Minnesota, northern Iowa, Wisconsin, northern Illinois is kind of in that the active storm track, if you will, across those areas. As we head into that Saturday afternoon and evening time frame. So I hope that answers your question. Again, probably not seeing any severe weather or storm action. We have a cap. We have a cap on the atmosphere across these areas in Nebraska on Saturday. Again, I'm trying to get all of your questions. Hello, Sonia. Hello, Mav, as well as Jakey Buddy. Hello, all you guys joining the live chat. Thank you guys for being so interactive today. Definitely much appreciated. Again, I'm trying to do more of these live stream weather forecasts. This is what we call Weather Wednesdays, guys. Remember I was telling you last week I'm doing a live stream on Wednesday. This is kind of what we're doing here from now on Wednesday. Weather Wednesdays out there, so definitely appreciate you guys joining. Snowy says clouds are back. Yeah, they're moving through. You got another cold front here. You got a cold front coming through here in the next, couple hours for your area. So maybe some thunderstorms. She says if the second round of storms are good, maybe I'll take a video and send it to you. Yeah, definitely. Send it to my email if you have any good wall clouds or anything moving through. That would be much appreciated. That'd be cool to see. Let's see here. Sonia says, hello from the Netherlands. You are doing a great job. Well, thank you very much. Definitely appreciate it, Sonia. And we love the Netherlands. We definitely love the Netherlands. Thank you for joining the live stream. Hope you're having a great Wednesday afternoon, evening out there, whatever time it is in the Netherlands. But thank you guys for joining. Definitely much appreciated. And hope you're having a great Wednesday afternoon and evening out there, Sonia. Mark says, if you do that, Snowies, Weather on the Go needs to share it. Oh, you're talking about any wall cloud or shelf cloud pictures? Yeah, I'll definitely be able to put it on the live stream if she does capture anything like that for you guys to see again eventually. So yeah, I'll be doing that for you guys. Let's see here. Mav says, do you think Boston area will get severe weather Thursday? So Boston on Thursday, so tomorrow. The day 2 outlook, yes, Boston, you guys are under a slight risk. So you're on the 2 of 5. You're the level 2 of 5, a slight risk in Boston. Again, that's much of Massachusetts here, in exception to Cape Cod. So Cape Cod, you're only in the marginal risk, but still a chance of severe weather. That's a 1 of 5. And really much of New England here, from western Maine through the entire states here of New Hampshire and Vermont. Basically about 80% of Massachusetts, an exception again to Cape Cod. Much of the Hartford area here in Connecticut, northern Rhode Island, eastern portions of New York State. Yeah, you guys are all under that 2 of 5, that slight risk area. That marginal risk does extend down towards the New York City area, and maybe even northern New Jersey, northeastern portions of Pennsylvania. And we also do want to note that we do have a kind of elongated area of a slight risk across the Carolinas, down through portions of the Atlanta metro, in this north central Georgia, much of Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, getting down into central portions there of Alabama, as well as the Jackson, Mississippi area as we head here into the day tomorrow as well, with kind of a couple of what we call MCSs or mesoscale convective systems moving through those areas as we head here through the day tomorrow. Hello, Tanya. Thank you guys for joining the live stream in the live chat today. You guys are awesome. You guys really make this live stream very fun because you guys make it so fun because all the interactive talk here on the live chat, definitely much appreciated. Again, that's all I've ever wanted, guys. You guys definitely rock. Definitely appreciate it. Everybody, hope you're having a great Wednesday out there. This is an awesome live chat today, guys. You guys make it very interactive. Appreciate it. Let's see here. So I hope that answers your question, Mav. Yeah, Boston, you were under a 2 of 5. Maybe some scattered severe weather tomorrow. Again, here's the risk hazards. The tornado threat is there for Boston, so you do have that 2% chance of tornadoes tomorrow. But I think the main threat mode here will be mainly damaging straight line winds over 60 miles per hour, and then that large hail threat that could be up to around quarter size, 1-inch hail tomorrow across the Boston area. So again, damaging winds, the main risk here, that could be over 60 miles per hour locally, up to quarter size hail, and then maybe an isolated spin up tornado along that broken line as it kind of pushes through. The timing wise, I'll kind of get into this using the the NamNIS model. Kind of zoom in here to the northeast for you. Yeah, we're kind of looking at mainly an afternoon type of deal. Mainly late afternoon across Boston. So kind of like right now. So about 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow for the Boston area is what we can expect for some severe weather potential. Snowies, new tornado warning for London, Ontario. Wow, there is. Okay. Let's see here. London, Ontario. Let's let this play out here. Wow, really? There's a tornado warning on the leading edge of that line, huh? Wow, yeah, I don't see, well, I'm using windy weather radar too. Again, this is kind of a better radar. I'm kind of going to be using this more frequently, I think, during my live streams more than anything else. Yeah, but you do definitely, Snowies, to the west of Toronto and west of Woodstock, Ontario, you definitely have a pretty strong line of storms developing across that area. A lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rain, and maybe a good rush of wind out of those storms. I wouldn't be surprised to see up to 60 mile per hour winds along the leading edge of that. So you might very well get your big storms that you've always wanted there, Snowies, this evening. So definitely, watch your skies to the west there. That's for sure. Let's see. Let's see here in the chat. A lot of interaction here in the chat. Jakey Buddy says, hi, just wanted to say that I have a severe thunderstorm morning on Tuesday, early morning at 5 a.m. There was 80 mile per hour winds and 2-inch hail. Wow. So yeah, that's some pretty big storms there. Jakey, definitely want to stay safe. Snowy says there is. Thumbs up. Yep. Tanya, thank you for joining the live stream, the live chat today. Definitely appreciate it. Tanya says they're not going to be 2022 hurricane season. That's me. There's going to be a 2022 Atlantic hurricane season. Guys, the Atlantic hurricane season, I promise you, is going to really start to heat up as we move through the next few weeks. As we get into the middle of August and beyond, and really climatologically, as we move through August and September, I think that hurricane season, climatologically speaking, in these La Nina years, actually really start to increase big time as we move through, the fall months as well. So don't close the book on the hurricane season, guys. The Atlantic season is coming. I definitely promise you guys, and you guys will be surprised. I think once we really start getting a lot of these tropical systems to start moving their way up through the Caribbean and the Gulf, you'll be surprised of how many named storms could happen in a week or two time. We could have 4 named storms potentially with what I'm seeing here in 2 weeks, guys. We could have 2 named storms per week as we get into the peak time of year across the Atlantic basin. So definitely don't close the book on that yet, because we definitely could be seeing a very active year still. Just because it's quiet now does not mean it will stay that way. That's for sure. Let's see here. Snowies. Well, tonight it's my night to get storms. Yes, it sure is, Snowies. Tonight is your night. Jakey says, yes, now it's your turn. Yep, it's your turn, Snowies. Finally, yeah, I definitely agree with you. Yeah, I've been waiting for my storms down here in northern Illinois. I live in the northern Illinois area too, and yeah, it's been a while. Let's see here. Jakey says, I have a couple of videos on Twitter. Okay, I'll have to check those out. Are you Jakey Buddy on Twitter as well? Okay, at Jakey Buddy. Okay, or at Buddy Jakey. Okay. Yeah, I'll check that out later on today after the live stream to see what you got on Twitter there. It'd be kind of cool to see if you got any cool videos and whatnot. Let's see. Tanya, August is coming up. I don't see no hurricane. There's not going to be a hurricane season. I don't see that. It's just me, okay? Tanya, I guarantee you there's going to be a hurricane season in the Atlantic. Now, how many hurricanes still remains to be seen because they haven't happened yet, but I definitely think there's at least going to be at least 3 or 4 hurricanes probably before the Atlantic hurricane season's over, and I do expect at least a couple landfalling systems, especially in Florida or the Carolinas and up the East Coast, kind of my first guess. The second guess across the Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama areas, and then my third guess would be across portions there of the coastal Texas. So I think Florida's kind of the hot spot, I think, this year in the Carolinas for landfalling systems. I'm not telling you that we're going to have a major Category 5 or anything like that, because that is probably not going to be the case. But you never know. You never know. We're in a La Nina year. It could be active. It only takes one hurricane to really, to really make a big impact on an area. So all you really need for a major, tropical system to come through, and it doesn't even have to be a hurricane, guys. Tropical depressions and tropical storms can just be as dangerous, if not as deadly, as hurricanes because of all the flooding out there. If they move slow enough, as you saw in Harvey, yeah, they could produce some prolific rainfall. We don't need that. We don't need any systems like that, but I'm definitely telling you guys that just because it's quiet right now in the Atlantic does not mean it is going to stay that way. That is for sure. Again, if you guys are just joining the live stream, would definitely appreciate if you drop the like down below, as well as subscribe to the YouTube channel. Definitely much appreciated. My new goal now is 500 subscribers. We just hit 300 subscribers here in the live stream, so definitely appreciate if you would drop the like as well as press that subscribe button here as well. Thank you guys for joining here on the Wednesday. Again, this is Weather Wednesdays. This is kind of what we're starting here today and going through here every single Wednesday. We're going to do a live stream again. We will still do our severe weather live streams as well when severe weather strikes, whether it's Monday, Sunday, anything like that. But we're going to do Weather Wednesdays for longer range forecasts for you guys coming up as well. Tanya, I think it's on your end. Everybody seems to. Snowy says my mic is fine today, and I actually am playing it on my phone next to me, and it's fine. So you might have to turn up your volume, or it's your internet or something, because it definitely is. It's definitely not on my end. That's for sure. Oh yeah, Snowies, you don't have Twitter anymore. Yeah, I know that. You still have the TikTok, and you still have all the other stuff on there as well. So it's pretty cool. Sonia. Your voice is going in and out, hard to hear. Okay, well, I mean, I guess there is some issue. I don't hear any issues on my end. So if it does go in and out, I apologize. Again, I'm upstairs today. I'm not in my basement, so I hope it's working more than it was the other day. Drew Ferguson, I had a question about Sunday and Monday because I saw on Monday for Lincoln area there's at least a 30-40% chance of storms. I was wondering if they could be on the severe side. Okay, so I'm glad you also brought that up. So as we move into next week, I actually did want to show you guys this. If you guys live in Texas, if you guys live down in the deep south, there is finally some relief heading your way. I definitely promise you that. We have a still above normal, signal from the Climate Prediction Center. They did put out this forecast this afternoon. This is for the July 26th through the 30th time frame, so the very last few days of July. And you see above here on the screen here, the Climate Prediction Center 6 to 10 day temperature outlook does show well above normal temperatures expected, or even, like I said, certain across portions there of the Pacific Northwest and much of the West Coast. We have that above normal temperature anomalies here kind of likely across the East Coast, as well as Texas there into the southern plains, the Mississippi Delta region. And then you got that below normal temperatures slightly favored across the Dakotas, the northern plains, and getting into the upper Midwest. But what I saw here was pretty awesome on the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook here from the Climate Prediction Center for July 26th through the 30th. Look at the above normal precipitation anomalies, guys. Look at that across Kansas, much of Oklahoma, North Texas. It's been a while. It's been a while since we've seen at least slightly favored above normal precipitation across these areas, and that looks to be the case to close out the month of July. So keep your fingers crossed, everybody. We definitely could get some much needed rain across much of the central and southern plains, back through the Four Corners, maybe even Southern California, Central California, much of central and southern Nevada, guys, as we move towards the last few days of July, as well as getting up through the Ohio Valley and portions of the I-95 corridor as well. But it doesn't stop there. Look at this. The 8 to 14 day temperature outlook here shows that heat really expanding across, especially the Pacific Northwest and the West Coast. So it's been cooler over there recently, but it's really starting to heat up as we kind of move into the first few days of August. Again, this is from July 28th through August 3rd, so about the first 3 days or so of August. Again, most of the country is still kind of warm, but we're not seeing any big, kind of anomalies for anything major across, with the major heat out there. I think the major historic heat will start to wind down a little bit as we get towards the early August timeframe. But again, look at the 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. Above normal precipitation favored in the Ohio Valley, the Mid-Atlantic, northern portions there of Arizona, and should I say Texas and Oklahoma, guys. Above normal precipitation is favored in your neck of the woods from July 28th and August 3rd. So for that 2-week period in late July and early August, you guys are expected to see, at least potentially see, some above normal rainfall. Again, it probably won't be drought busting, but it will be a silver lining to what has been just a dreadful, July out there with all that heat and all of that humidity, and definitely with all of that, dry weather, the drought ongoing and worsening across these areas. That is some good news. And again, light is at the end of the tunnel for some of these folks down into portions here of Texas and Oklahoma and much of the central and southern plains, I think, as we open the book to August. So that is some good news, and I definitely like to see stuff like that. That is for sure. Okay, so as we're kind of going back to what Drew was asking here, let's look at the European forecast model here, kind of going to the contiguous United States view here. You can see as we get into next week, first we got the kind of complex of storms moving through portions of the western Great Lakes and upper Midwest here, moving into that Saturday afternoon, evening time frame, some severe weather there. As we get into next week, this is the 12Z European forecast model. Again, this just did come out earlier this afternoon. During that Monday night time frame, we're really not seeing too much. Maybe some isolated storms on Monday across portions of the north central plains. Maybe an isolated severe threat, but nothing too organized. Maybe kind of a marginal risk type of day on Monday. As we move into Tuesday, now this is kind of interesting. The models last night were going all in on an MCS or even a derecho, probably traversing across Iowa and northern Illinois. But now some of the models have backed off. The European forecast model shows storms developing somewhere across the Midwest. And the reason why I say somewhere across the Midwest is because there's still question marks on, okay, so there's going to be a cold front dropping south here across the western Great Lakes on Saturday. And it'll start to move back northward as a warm front here as we head into early next week. And how far north that warm front gets will really dictate where the storm track is for next week. So it's kind of a domino effect, if you will, across these areas as we head into next week. And that's what I'm seeing right now. And again, I'll keep you updated on my Twitter page. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter handle is down below, so definitely check that out as well. But again, the European forecast model does have that warm front kind of right along southern Iowa, central Illinois, and right along and north of that warm front is where we can expect that complex of storms to be. Again, mainly east of the Nebraska area and kind of more into Iowa, northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, southeastern Minnesota as we move into Tuesday evening. And looking kind of at what we can expect with some of the setup here, if we can have severe weather or not. The low-level jet is there. We do have a pretty robust low-level jet here kind of punching in from the south and west from the middle Missouri Valley. We also have a fairly strong, fairly decent, modest mid-level jet kind of rounding the base of a trough that's going to be up into the southern Canadian prairies around Saskatchewan and Manitoba. And also of note, a pretty decent zonal flow in the upper levels of the jet stream is actually going to be occurring during that time as well. And we actually do have a pretty strong signal of a stronger jet developing as we get toward the middle of next week. So we'll definitely have to keep in mind of that. But again, I don't really think Nebraska is going to be too much in line for any organized severe weather. I think that'll be mainly off to your east as I see it right now. But then again, that front kind of drops back south as a cold front as we head towards the early August time frame as well. Again, looking at the GFS model, this is the 12Z here, kind of showing the same theme. We got repeated rounds of storms, but the GFS model is actually showing that complex a little farther south because the warm front doesn't get as far north. And then the same thing with the Canadian model or the GDPS, kind of showing that a little farther north because the warm front goes farther north. So it's all in that positioning of the warm front as we move into portions of early next week, and that's what the differences that I see are. So I hope that answers your question out there. Again, I try to break these down as much as I can. Mav says, thank you. Tanya, we can't hear you. It's low. Yeah, I already heard about that. I think I should be fine now. I'm pretty close to the mic, or pretty close to the computer here. According to my radar, I should be in rain, but I am not just under severe thunderstorm watch, not even a warning. Well, if you're under severe thunderstorm watch, Snowies, that actually means conditions are favorable for severe weather. And I do see a pretty strong storm actually coming towards at least the southern end of Toronto there with a lot of lightning here. Again, this is still pretty far away from Toronto, kind of a broken line, trying to develop into a solid line of storms. So we'll watch that. Again, we got storms down into portions of northern Ohio as well. So that's something we're watching as well. Let's see here. Sonia, after 2 very hot days, 39.2 degrees Celsius. Wow, that's pretty warm. We are having some rain now. It's a 1 a.m. and still hot. Yeah, it's pretty warm. You guys got a big heat wave across the UK, the Netherlands, Spain, France. I know they've been very hot recently, and they have actually probably the hottest times over the last century over in some of these areas. So definitely very hot times, very hot go of it across the UK, that's for sure. Not only in the US, but different countries like Spain, France, Netherlands, a bunch of countries over here into the Middle East. Yeah, there's a lot across Europe and a lot across portions of Africa there. Very hot weather. So it's not just across the United States. Just as a globe, globally, a very hot summer here is what is underway right now. Snowy says the hurricanes will hit all in August and September. That's kind of, I wouldn't say all in those months. I still could have hurricanes in October, November, and maybe sometimes even December, just because of the longer hurricane seasons with the climate change and a lot of things out there. A lot of these La Nina years actually kind of prolong the hurricane season towards sometimes even early December. So we can't even let the guard down even into early winter even in some of these areas, just depending on the water temperature. So we'll keep an eye on it. But I think you're right, Snowies. I think August and September are going to be very active months. I think from middle of August through at least early September, it's going to be very active for that first few weeks there between the middle of August and early September. That's for sure. Snowy says wind is picking up. Yeah, along the leading edge of those storms, you definitely could have some pretty strong, gusty winds. Again, the storms are just off to your west. You've got some rainfall moving through from time to time, but that cold front's going to be coming through, so you have some pretty strong winds. I know last night the cold front moved through northern Illinois dry. We didn't have any storms, but we did actually have some gusty winds move through with that, that strong, potent cold front. That's for sure. Christian says, quick update on max velocity is going live stream today. I can't see you, weather on the go. I'm not sure what he's trying to say. Okay. Snowy says, I think the next round of storms are going to hit me around 8 p.m., 7 p.m. your time. Yeah, I think you're right. About 8 o'clock. Next couple hours, you'll have that's when that main cold front will come through with maybe the leading edge of these storms producing some strong gusty winds. Definitely some heavy rainfall, some very vivid lightning out there as well, and maybe even some small hail. And I couldn't rule out maybe a spin-up tornado, but I think the tornado risk is pretty low. But while you're in kind of proximity to this kind of shortwave trough and a lot of this wind shear in southeastern Canada, I wouldn't rule it out. Snowy's, it says it stays broken and breaks over me. I don't know about that. It looks like a pretty solid line right now, and it probably, usually during the evening hours, the low-level jet actually starts to organize these more than you think. So, Tanya, go to Tropical Tidbits and go to Ensemble and go to the GEFS and go to the Ensemble member. Stop at August 5th. Okay, so let me do that for you real quick. You said that what? Ensemble GEFS. Okay, so the GEFS. I'll show the precipitation on here. Well, it doesn't show MSLP. Okay, okay. Give me one moment here. There's a lot of different ones. The anomaly one. We'll look at this. Okay. You said stop at what? It only goes, it must be the 12Z you're looking at. August 5th. I see it. You see something? I don't see a thing. There's not a thing on here. Let's see. What I see on August 5th is more of a wave coming off Africa and the same theme. We just see a lot of storm action on the southern Atlantic, and it carries over across the Central Americas into the Eastern Pacific. But again, I did say this earlier. We still might open the door a little bit to some storm action across the Gulf and Western Caribbean during this time frame, but I think the Eastern Pacific is still going to be the main player as we kind of move through that time frame. Okay, the 6Z, I don't like looking at that because it's very inaccurate sometimes. The 6Z is probably one of the most inaccurate weather models. The 6Z of any of the models are actually probably one of the most inaccurate. 6Z and 18Z are pretty inaccurate. I like the 12Z and 0Zs better because they give you kind of the full information is on there. A lot of the data is kind of cut off on the 6Z and 18Z. But again, looking at that on the 6Z, yeah, there's a little signal there for Texas. But I think that's not, this is far out. I bet you look at it tomorrow and you don't see it at all. That's just kind of what these models do. That's just what the models do. And Tanya, there's going to be such a strong ridge over the United States. Any storm that gets caught into the flow there into portions of the Gulf will just get eaten up by that ridge. So I'm not too worried about that during that time frame. And again, I'm more worried about the Lesser Antilles and portions of the Caribbean more than I am the Gulf heading into the early portion of August. That's why I said during the middle of August is really what we're looking at for prime time for the Gulf of Mexico. I think anything that develops in early August will be more confined to the Caribbean and the Eastern Pacific and the very, very southern portion here of the Atlantic Basin, because that ridge is so strong, potentially, at least on the ensemble members here, the GFS, across the middle of the country, that ridge is just going to eat up anything in its path. So definitely, I don't think anything's going to be working towards Texas anytime soon. Now, there could be, if this high pressure system does move off like the ensemble member does indicate across the Eastern Pacific Basin and kind of opens the door a little bit towards Florida, I could see a storm developing in the Lesser Antilles and then moving up here and curling towards the East Coast in between these high pressure systems. But anything moving west towards this ridge in the country during the early portion of August, it's just going to get eaten up. There's no way. So, again, I appreciate you kind of commenting on that, but I really don't think there's anything moving. It says 940 millibar. Now, that would be a record, pretty much like a record low pressure for a hurricane. I don't see that. Again, you're looking out at the very end of the forecast model, and again, 6Z is very inaccurate, and I don't look at that very often. So, just kind of giving you a little bit of a tidbit out there. Snowy says, what about the storms that are supposed to hit me Saturday night? Is that still huge? Okay, so Snowy's is asking about Saturday night. So let's look at the European forecast model here. Moving towards Saturday afternoon, again, we got some storms developing across portions of the western Great Lakes, so Wisconsin, northern Iowa, getting into portions of, maybe far northwestern Illinois, southeastern, Minnesota. As we move towards Saturday, late afternoon, evening, again, it looks like a complex of storms, at least on the 12Z European forecast model. Again, don't put all your bread in the basket on just this one model, but just, it's been pretty accurate this year, so we'll go with this one for now. A complex moving through portions of Iowa, northern Illinois. And again, the reason why I say I go with this model for now is because it actually is pretty close to what the Storm Prediction Center's outlook is for Saturday, with that 15% shading across portions of the western lakes on Saturday. Again, you see that 15% shaded area across much of south central Wisconsin, including Green Bay, Milwaukee, Madison, Wisconsin Dells, La Crosse, Prairie du Chien, far northern Illinois, much of the Des Moines area, Cedar Rapids, Dubuque, Iowa, Rochester, Minnesota, all these areas impacted here with that slight risk. Again, the slight risk could move a little farther south, it could move a little farther east, or it could kind of expand, and we could have higher coverage of storms, which means we could have an upgrade to an enhanced risk. A lot of these questions will be answered here as we get into the day 3 outlook, as they come out with the day 3. That doesn't come out here. The Storm Prediction Center doesn't release their day 3 outlook until 2:30 in the morning. So, again, I won't be live for that, but again, if you guys are just joining, we'd appreciate if you just press the thumbs up button down below, as well as subscribe to the YouTube channel. We did hit 300 subscribers. Definitely be much appreciated. Again, Snowies, probably some storms for you on Saturday evening, maybe Sunday morning, but I think kind of moving through at a kind of an unfavorable time of day for severe weather. But you still could have some showers and storms, so I'm not saying you can't, but probably the severe weather threat's looking a little bit more kind of to the west of you than anything else into the United States. Snowies, I'll watch your area for next week. I think next week could be a next opportunity for maybe some severe weather. Again, this may go south of you as well into the United States. We'll just have to wait and see. If the Canadian model's right, Snowies, you could have, let's see here. Whoops. Yeah, if the Canadian model is right, Snowies, we could be talking about maybe a convective system or a derecho potentially moving through as we kind of move into that, let's see here. As we kind of move into the middle of next week. Now, there's a lot of question marks, and I say derecho just because the pattern is conducive to one doesn't mean there's going to be one. It's just the potential is there, so I kind of want to heighten the awareness that, okay, we might have an organized complex of storms, but there's, derechos are rare, and there has to be a lot that comes together for those, so that's just kind of what we're looking at here as well. Again, the live chat's open to anyone and everyone. Hello, Tim. Hope you're having a great afternoon and evening out there. We're just kind of going over the long-range weather forecast for you guys through about 7 o'clock, so for about the next half hour. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, definitely drop them down in the live chat. Again, it's open to anyone and everyone. If you guys have not liked the live stream, definitely press the thumbs up button down below, as well as subscribe to the YouTube channel. I know all you guys that are new have not subscribed. Definitely press that subscribe button on that YouTube channel here. We definitely will give you some longer range weather forecasts here on this channel. Again, we're doing a new thing. It's called Weather Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, we're going to go over the long range weather forecast for you guys to give you a bearing of what you can expect over the next 2 weeks or so. Every single Wednesday afternoon. We're going to start this usually around 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday afternoons, and then we're going to go through about 7 o'clock. So kind of about an hour and a half worth of, some severe weather coverage if we need to, talking about hurricane stuff, just kind of miscellaneous things to get you caught up on your weather forecast as we move a little bit closer. Tim says hi. He says, when is Pittsburgh going to see storms tonight? So good question, Tim. Definitely appreciate all the awesome questions. Let's go back to the HRRR model for you. And Pittsburgh, you said, right? So Pittsburgh here in the southwestern side of Pennsylvania. We can see the HRRR. This is the most updated one, 22Z here, just came out just recently. So this is the most up to date what the what the weather models could look, or the weather radar could look like later today. As we kind of move through the evening hours, I think Pittsburgh probably around the mid-evening hours, so probably around 8, 9, 10 o'clock, somewhere around mid-evening. If you were to get any storms, that will be the case. Again, this is the Storm Prediction Center's outlook here for today, so let me go back to that in day 1. Again, Pittsburgh, you're in that, let's see here. Pittsburgh, you're in the easternmost side of that slight risk, so there is a chance for some severe weather in Pittsburgh as we head towards mid and late evening. Again, the tornado risk is just right along and northwest of the Pittsburgh area here as we head into late evening hours. Again, I'm not too worried about tornado risk. It is still a 2%. Again, the Storm Prediction Center will update this at 8 o'clock here, so you just go to spc.gov, and they'll have a new update at 8 o'clock. Again, I'm going to end this live stream at 7 o'clock, but definitely can go to the spc.gov, the Storm Prediction Center's website. They'll have an updated outlook for you guys to look at that they will publish here around 8 o'clock here this evening. Again, mainly the main threat here for the Pittsburgh area is going to be damaging winds over 60 miles per hour and maybe some small to medium size hail. I think the large hail threat is more confined into Ohio during this period. Yeah, so about mid-evening, Tim. So that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Tim. Definitely appreciate the good question. Thank you. Again, all these questions are very awesome. Thank you guys for joining this afternoon and evening. Again, you guys make it awesome. Love all the interaction here on the live stream. Let's see here. Tanya, 940 hit Texas. That too far out to know. It's I'm not putting any money in the basket on any hurricanes or anything in Texas. It's just way too far out to know. And again, the 6Z model forecast runs are very inaccurate. 6Z and 18Z are very inaccurate. I look more at the 0Z and 12Z. That's when you get the full data here for the weather models. That's why we were just looking at the European forecast model that was 12Z earlier, because it gets you kind of more of a bearing on what you can expect in the longer range. And just because the European model is performed fairly well with kind of looking at the upper levels of the atmosphere and everything from the top down this year. So I kind of lean more toward the European model. Tim says, we need the rain here. It's been hot. Yes, it has, Tim. And actually showing you guys the Climate Prediction Center's forecast here as we move through the 6 to 10 day outlook here. Again, this is the Climate Prediction Center's forecast. That's their 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. This is from July 26th through July 30th. And you can see where Tim is there in Pittsburgh area, slightly above normal temperature wise there to close out the month of July. But there's also a signal of above normal precipitation slightly favored across the Ohio Valley, especially into portions there of Kentucky, southern portions of Indiana, southern Ohio, but getting up there here into portions of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast as well towards the I-95 corridor, including southwestern Pennsylvania. So, and I did want to show you guys, anybody who's new near the Texas area, some much needed, useful rain, a lot of useful rain that could be on the way there for portions, especially into Kansas and Oklahoma here as we close the book here on July, moving to early August. The Climate Prediction Center's forecast shows even portions near the Red River there towards Dallas, Fort Worth, Denton, getting up towards Wichita Falls, the Amarillo area, and especially up towards Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Wichita, Kansas. Yeah, there's a lot of areas that we could have above normal precipitation kind of closing the month out of July. Again, this is not going to be a drought busting rain, but definitely a silver lining of what has been just a dreadful July out there with all that drought expanding and worsening and all that heat out there. So definitely some good news for a lot of folks as we kind of move towards this time frame, that's for sure. Tanya says, someone on Twitter, go to say a Category 4 hit Texas. I don't go on Twitter. If somebody's saying Category 4 is going to hit Texas on Twitter, I would disregard that, because it's just childish to say that, because I'm going back here. Let me go back to the forecast models here, guys. Again, there's just no evidence of that happening really as we go towards there's no evidence of that as we go to further and further down the road here, even into early August. That's why I said middle of August is where I'm kind of expecting, the middle. Again, the middle of August is where I'm expecting the hurricane season to really start to ratchet up across portions of the Atlantic. And again, we got the high pressure system over the central Atlantic. We got that flow around high pressure system that's kind of more of clockwise. And along the southern end of this, we're going to have these waves come off Africa. And if they even form at all, they'll move across the Central Americas into the Eastern Pacific. And that's just what we've seen of late. And I think that there's going to be no change in that pattern as we move into early August, because the reason why, and I'm showing you the GFS model, guys, look at that. You guys do not see a single storm in the Gulf of Mexico or the Caribbean on even the GFS's model, let alone the ensemble as we move toward that time frame, because look at there's a ridge over the United States, and I'll show you that here. Let's see here. trying to find the right thing here so I could show you guys the ridge. Okay, here it is. There's going to be a ridge over the United States. Look at where the ridge is going to be centered there in the United States during that time frame, and there's just not going to be anything to, there's not going to be anything. The ridge is just going to be there, is what I'm trying to say. There's not going to be anything steering its way towards the Gulf of Mexico during this time frame, so I'm not really too worried about that as we get here into Texas. Again, Florida is the hot spot this year. The Carolinas are the hot spot this year. I think Texas is probably my last resort for any storms moving that way. I'm not saying it's going to not happen, but again, I don't think Texas is really in line for anything too significant this year. That's just what I'm thinking now and looking at the analogs. Guys, I look at weather models endlessly through the day. I think my eyes are glued to the computer, glued to weather models probably 24 hours a day, guys. I even look at this here when I do my forecast videos on my YouTube channel. Before I make my videos, because I want an utmost accurate weather forecast for all you guys, and that's for sure. Okay, so Tanya says the GEFS has a hurricane. Okay, again, I'm going to stress this again. The GEFS is an ensemble, okay? So if the ensemble shows it during that time frame, and if you're looking at 6Z, it's very inaccurate for one, and for two, the ensemble is kind of the errors of what the GFS has, and we don't really look at, again, we look at ensembles a lot because of, the differences in the weather models. But again, the GEFS at 6Z is very inaccurate, and I just don't look at 6Z very much just because all the data is not there. I guarantee you, Tanya, if you look at the new 0Z GEFS that comes out later this evening, it's going to not be there. I guarantee it. So just look at that later tonight, and I promise you it won't be there. You see that little bit of blue there? That's maybe some tropical rains developing, but I could guarantee you that is not a tropical system of any sort of significance at all. And looking at the vorticity, there's nothing on the vorticity that suggests this thing is going to be anything of significance as well. Again, you have to have vorticity for thunderstorm activity, and we just don't see it. Jakey, storm videos on Twitter. All right, man. I'll definitely look at those later on this evening after the live stream. Definitely much appreciated. I'll definitely look on the Twitter and I'll like it up for you, man. Drew Ferguson, Sunday to Monday for the Central Plains. Will that have severe weather with it, or will it be mainly to the east? I'm thinking Sunday to Monday it'll be mainly in the Ohio Valley. There might be an isolated severe storm. With all the heat out there, you can't rule out a pop-up kind of popcorn type of storms across those areas as we kind of move towards that time frame again in Nebraska, because Nebraska is going to be kind of very close to that, the upper edge of that heat wave out there. But again, I'm not really too worried about a severe weather threat organized across Nebraska during that time frame. But again, good question. Definitely appreciate it. Tanya, yes, I know. The MSLP has it. Yes, you are correct. And the MSLP is built into that weather forecast model. But I'm telling you right now, the 6Z is very inaccurate. And again, I hate to argue with people, but I guarantee, guys, I've been following weather for several years now. I'm 21 years old. Okay, I got a lot of room to grow. Yes, I do. There's no mistake in that. But I definitely have a lot of knowledge about especially severe weather and kind of the upper level pattern. I've been looking at these models endlessly for even the Atlantic hurricane season across, these areas over the past several weeks, and there's just been no evidence that I see of anything. And if there was, I would have a video on it. I guarantee you I would come out with a video and say, hey, there's a hurricane coming out. We're going to have a Category 4 in Texas, and oh my gosh, you guys should evacuate. But no, there's nothing that I see in the next 2 weeks that suggests anything like that happening anywhere in the United States. But if there was, I promise you I'll keep you guys covered. So don't let your guard down. Again, the hurricane season will be active in the Atlantic. We will be seeing named storms rather shortly in the next few weeks, but we're just not seeing that right now. Okay, so let's go to the Ohio Valley and show you what the HRRR is showing, the new HRRR. I don't think we've shown that. I think we showed the HRRR in the Northeast. So let's move it to the Ohio Valley. This is what you can expect. I'll put this in motion for you guys so you can kind of see. I'll slow it down a little bit for you guys. Moving toward this time frame. This is going through that early Friday morning time frame. Again, this is for this is the wrong one. Okay, 22Z. This is what we need. This is what you can expect. That line of storms moving through the Pittsburgh area, down towards Charleston, West Virginia, getting into portions there of southern Ohio, portions of Kentucky as well. Again, this will start to kind of lose its luster as we kind of move towards the the late evening hours and the overnight hours, because after midnight, as the instability starts to wane across these areas. So definitely something to watch as well. And that'll kind of feed into some of the severe weather across the deep south as we get into Friday as well. Let's go to the NAM model here and show you that across the deep south on Friday. Actually, or is it tomorrow? Let's see here. Okay, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. Go figure. Let's see here. We got a line of storms developing here tomorrow. Again, kind of a line of storms. I think Georgia's kind of the hot spot with that slight risk here. I don't see an upgrade. Probably still a slight risk here for the day tomorrow. We'll see what the Storm Prediction Center does do. I wouldn't rule out maybe an enhanced risk across these areas, but I don't think the deep layer shear is very strong. That's for sure. Jakey, I just saw your comment. You're funny. Yeah, but an MCS kind of a mesoscale convective system kind of organizing across the Atlanta metro here and moving south across the southeast as we kind of move towards that Thursday afternoon time frame. We'll start to weaken this a little bit into the overnight hours as we kind of lose some of the instability. But looking here at the instability across this area here, a lot of it growing kind of along and ahead of a boundary here, moving to the south across the deep south here into the southeast as we move into Thursday afternoon. Again, with the reds here, that's about 4,000 joules per kilogram, guys. It's a lot of instability. That's some strong to locally extreme instability, and that's what we need for some of those, updrafts to get very strong. Looking at the low-level jet, really not seeing too much of a low-level jet, just kind of a stronger low-level jet tries to develop across central Georgia during this time frame, and then the mid-level jet is actually kind of really displaced farther to the north, and the same thing is with the 250 millibar or the upper-level jet, kind of the same way as well. Snowy's, is that his nickname? Is that what you call him? That's pretty funny. But guys, I wanted to show you again next week. The climate forecasting systems model is again not verbatim. We don't look at this for mesoscale kind of instability values or anything like that. But where you do see the brighter colors on here is where you do see the potential for some stronger instability. Kind of, again, like I like to say, again, don't take these models verbatim, but the trends are your friend. So as we get towards Tuesday time frame next week, let's actually look at Monday first. You can see the instability really starts to kind of elongate, grow from the Dakotas all the way back through portions of northern Missouri, central and downstate Illinois, getting to the Ohio Valley. But as we move into Tuesday next week, the climate forecasting systems model that came out around midday today is actually showing these purple and even those white kind of pinkish values across, eastern portions of Nebraska, especially over Iowa, much of north central Illinois. And this actually indicates the potential for some stronger instability and more severe weather potential as we kind of move into this time frame here, as we move into early and middle portion of next week. That's Snowy. That must be his nickname. Is that what you call him? I'm not judging. I just think it's funny. Again, Tanya, I appreciate you joining. I'm just trying to lay out the facts for you guys. I don't want to put any false information out there. Again, I'm not mad at anybody. I never will be mad at anybody. I'm just laying out the facts for you guys, and I'm telling you there's not going to be a hurricane hitting Texas anytime soon. And again, if there was a hurricane moving toward the United States, again, there would be something we'd watch. But if somebody on Twitter is putting out, false information, I don't think that's right. There's no evidence that I see on weather models that just suggest anything like that. So again, I'm not arguing with anybody. I'm just trying to tell you and lay out the facts. That's all. Yeah, so looking here at, sorry guys, I'm just looking kind of at the storm reports here. Oh, that's what Jakey calls himself. Okay, I forgot you guys. Jakey's from central Manitoba, right? You're from central Manitoba, Jakey, right? I know I've probably asked you this many times before, but yeah, Toronto, we're still watching Toronto there. We got that line of storms getting a little bit closer here toward the Toronto area here within the next couple of hours. So if you live near Toronto, north of Toronto, south of Toronto, definitely seeing the kind of line of storms moving through here shortly, that's for sure. Again, if you guys are just joining, definitely like the live stream down below. We have 9 likes. Again, if you have not subscribed, press that subscribe button as well. We got up to around 300 subscribers here today as well. Definitely much appreciated, guys. Again, you guys are all my friends, including Tanya. You're my friend. You're still my friend. I'm just trying to tell you guys the facts about this hurricane season again. Tanya, you're still my friend. I promised you. And I'm not mad at you or anything like that. Definitely appreciate everybody joining today. We just want to get accurate information out. We don't want to spread false information. We want to give you guys the most utmost accurate weather forecast for you guys out there. And again, if there was a hurricane coming through, I'd definitely let you know. That's for sure. I'll keep you guys up to date on the weather forecast for you guys on my YouTube channel. So again, I'll have another video coming out here tomorrow morning. So definitely check that out as well. Like the video as well as subscribe to the channel as well. Tell more people to join. I have a lot of good videos coming up here with the weather content. So definitely check that out. Some people, Tanya says, some on Twitter are going to say Category 4 or 5. Guys, that's just noise. That's all just noise. There's no, I'm just going to disregard that because people like that put stuff out there on Twitter like that and say there's going to be a Category 5 next Tuesday. That's garbage. There's nothing on there that suggests that that there's going to be something like that again, because I told you that there's going to be a high pressure system centered over the central Atlantic. And with high pressure systems, you have clockwise flow, and it's going to steer all of these open waves off Africa to the west towards the southern Caribbean rather than the northern Caribbean, and actually kind of maintain them kind of staying across the Central Americas. And that's, again, why the Eastern Pacific is so busy and has been so busy. We're already on the E name here, and maybe even getting to name, I forget what the F name is for the Eastern Pacific. Let's kind of look here. Let's kind of look here. So we've already had Agatha. We've had Agatha here already. Blas, as well as Celia, Bonnie, Darby, Estelle. So we've already seen that. Okay, so the next name, the F name here in the Eastern Pacific, would be Tropical Storm or Hurricane Frank. So that would be the next name in the Eastern Pacific Basin here on the next, if we have that storm. We do have the 20%. I think they might have upgraded that. I'll have to look here. I'll update you on the tropics here, maybe in my next video or another video tomorrow. So we'll kind of look at that as we move a little bit closer. But again, we're already up to maybe Tropical Storm Frank here if that system does start to develop more across the Eastern Pacific. So we'll definitely have to watch that as we get a little bit closer. That's for sure. Again, guys, I'm going to be live till about just close to 7 o'clock, and then I think I'll be wrapping it up here. Again, if you guys have any questions that you guys still want answered out there, again, this is mainly what we call Weather Wednesdays, just kind of going over the longer range weather forecast for the next couple weeks to kind of give you guys an idea of what to expect from coast to coast. Again, looking at the large picture, I do think, let's go back to the European forecast model here and kind of zoom out for you. I do think the heat's going to stay. We're going to have a big heat wave, and that'll just continue here, an historic heat wave all the way through at least the end of July. Again, there is some relief in sight towards the very end of July and early August for portions of the southern plains. The Climate Prediction Center. The Climate Prediction Center, I did show you guys, does have that above normal precipitation anomaly for Texas, for Oklahoma, and portions there of the Tennessee Valley. Again, not a drought busting rain, but definitely some rain nonetheless. So definitely some light at the end of the tunnel there. And again, watching next week, guys, I'll have update on this here in my video as we get a little bit closer, but there could be another kind of severe weather potential, maybe a severe weather outbreak across portions of the western Great Lakes or the Ohio Valley moving in towards the early and middle portion of next week. So we'll definitely have to, I'll definitely keep you up to date on my videos on my YouTube for this as well as we move during this time frame. Again, this is kind of the European forecast model, and even the climate forecasting systems model does kind of show that instability building towards next week as well. You can see all the reds here on this forecasting model. Again, this is not to take verbatim, but it does show kind of the higher end values of CAPE or convective available potential energy as we kind of move towards that Tuesday evening into Wednesday time frame. Again, July 26th, 27th time frame, moving in toward the middle of next week. Again, I'll keep you covered on all this as we move a little bit closer here in my videos. Tomorrow morning, again, I'll be covering daily severe weather. And if you guys would give me some feedback, if you guys do watch my videos down here in the chat, would you guys let me know? Do you guys like the breakdown of all the the severe weather setups with all like how much instability there's going to be, the wind shear profiles, all that stuff? because I definitely like breaking down the weather pattern to kind of show you what you can expect and why it's happening. That's kind of why I go more into depth with these kind of videos during the morning. So definitely would appreciate it, some feedback on that if you were to dot something down for me to let me know. Definitely would be much appreciated, guys. Again, guys, thank you guys for joining today. Again, we're going to be here for just a few more minutes longer here, closer to about 7 o'clock, the next 5 or 10 minutes thereabout, and then we'll be wrapping up here the live stream. Again, thank you guys for joining. You guys mean a lot. We'll be doing these Weather Wednesdays every week, and of course, we'll still be doing live streams breaking in here throughout the week as well as the weekend. If we need to for severe weather, again, I'll try to keep you guys up to date with that. If you guys do follow me on Twitter, I will have more information on when I'll go live as well. So definitely, my Twitter handle is below. Click on that. As well as, the Twitter handle is also on my YouTube channel as well. So definitely click on that as well. And the YouTube channel is on the right-hand side at the top towards the search bar there on the YouTube channel. So definitely go check that out as well. Again, thank you guys for joining. Definitely appreciate it. Again, I'm going kind of over one more time what we can expect with the Storm Prediction Center's outlook here. This is the rest of today. The new outlook will come out at 8 o'clock here this evening. Again, the slight risk does maintain across western portions of Pennsylvania, including the Pittsburgh area, down through Ohio, western portions there of West Virginia, much of Kentucky, southeastern Indiana. Again, the tornado threat is still 2% across northern Ohio and northwestern portions of Pennsylvania. The main threat here is actually damaging winds that could be over 60 miles per hour, and then the large hail threat. Looking ahead to tomorrow, we do have those 2 slight risk zones across portions there of the Northeast, and then one down from the Carolinas through the Atlanta metro, getting down towards portions of the Mississippi and Alabama. So Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, getting down towards the Jackson, Mississippi area. And then we have that slight risk up across Boston here, Caribou, Maine, getting up through Vermont, New Hampshire, eastern New York State, just to the north of New York City here with a slight risk as we head into tomorrow. Again, tornadoes are going to be confined up towards the northeast, stronger, kind of in, closer proximity to that, upper level spin with that shortwave trough, kind of more shear in that area. So we'll definitely have to watch that as we get a little bit closer. Again, 2% across that area. And again, we're seeing a kind of a wind area as well, with kind of damaging wind potential across portions of the northeast, getting down here through the southeast as well tomorrow. The hail threat more, kind of on the lower end for tomorrow. So mainly just damaging winds again, the main risk, and then kind of large hail being a secondary, and then, isolated tornadoes behind that. Looking ahead to Friday, we do have the marginal risk across Wisconsin, far northern Illinois, much of Iowa, southeastern Minnesota, so Rochester, Minnesota, getting down toward the Des Moines area, Green Bay, Milwaukee, Madison, La Crosse, Prairie du Chien, getting down towards portions there of eastern Nebraska as well. This is for your Friday. So definitely want to watch that as we get a little bit closer. And then for Saturday, we do have a slight risk as of now. The day 4 outlook here from the Storm Prediction Center does maintain here a 15% or slight risk, a level 2 of 5 across portions of south central Wisconsin, far northern Illinois, getting down here to portions of Iowa and southeastern Minnesota as we get a little bit closer here towards that Saturday time frame. This could be getting a little bit smaller and could be expanding in coverage, so we'll definitely have to watch this as we do get a little bit closer here as well. Snowies, are you still here in the chat? Snowies, are you still here in the chat or in the live stream here right now? Christian says max velocity is live. Yep. Snowies, let me know if you're still in the chat. I do want to ask you something about that storm that was moving through earlier. Again, still watching that again. The long range forecast, again, we still have that heat continuing, especially across the West Coast and the Pacific Northwest as we get towards the last few days here, July. Again, the heat will be expanding as well across the Southeast, so we'll definitely have to watch that as well. Again, slightly below normal temperature-wise across the upper Midwest and Northern Plains during this period. Again, the light is at the end of the tunnel across portions here of the southern and central plains, where we could have above normal precipitation there as well, especially for portions of Wichita, Kansas, down into north central Oklahoma there, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and then again across the Louisville area, downstate portions like in Evansville, Indiana there, southwestern Ohio as well. Okay, Snowies, you still are here? Yeah, if you do get any wall cloud pictures or videos or anything like that, you can definitely feel free to send them to my email if you so choose. So definitely do that if you have any storms move through this evening. Would be very much appreciated. That's kind of all I wanted to tell you. Again, if you do have any cool pictures like shelf clouds, wall clouds, hail pictures, videos of any damaging winds out there, anything like that, definitely definitely send them my way. I think you still have my email out there. And again, I think my email is on my Twitter page in the About tab. So definitely go check that out as well. Again, like I said, I want to see any cool pictures out there. Hopefully everything is all, safe and fine for you, Snowies, in Toronto. And again, I'll be doing probably another live stream tomorrow or Friday. So definitely stay tuned for that, everybody, for more severe weather coverage. We'll be going over radar analysis as well. Snowy says, absolutely, but don't hold your breath. They're probably going to miss. You're going to have a line of storms later today, but I'm not. I don't know how severe they'll be. Just kind of want to be on guard for the potential of severe weather if you do live in those areas. That is for sure. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for joining the live stream today. Hope everybody has a great rest of their Wednesday evening. Again, we'll be doing this again next Wednesday for Weather Wednesdays out there. Definitely lots of fun. Thank you guys for joining the live stream and live chat today. Very interactive live chat. Thank you guys. Thank you, Snowies. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Jakey Buddy, Drew Ferguson. Thank you, Tim. Also, thank you, Army. Thank you as well. Who else is in? Christian, Sonia, and everybody else who joined the live chat today. Lots of fun. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mav. Lots of you guys made it lots of fun today. Again, I look forward to having another live stream again for you as we go kind of move forward towards next week. And I will keep you posted. I'll keep you guys posted here on the severe weather potential, including southeastern and southern Canada as well, from Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec. As we move through my videos here in the morning, I'll be posting another video tomorrow morning, keeping you updated on that. Well, thank you guys, everybody, and thank you, Snowies. She says, thanks for the live stream. You're welcome, and I definitely appreciate you joining. Again, I might be going live tomorrow or on Friday as well. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your evening, and stay safe out there. And I hope everybody has a great rest of their week, and I'll see you in the next video and also in the next live stream. Good night, everybody.
Searching for music for your next video? Then you need to check out our list.